Hi everyone, my name is Destiny Khalil, and this is my response to A Midsummer Night's Dream. So for the first question, something in this play that contributes to the Renaissance time period was the design of costumes. A lot of the characters had very lavish costumes to fit the time period of the Renaissance and the style back then. This includes things such as the corsets and the big gowns and skirts that they wore. And then I said these changes help to add more to the history of the play and help the audience better visualize what time was really like back then and the way people acted and dressed. And then I said another thing that I really wanted to point out too was the dialogue and the way they spoke. It was very formal and not modern like the language we use on a day-to-day basis. I said I feel like this also added to the play because it also helped fit the time atmosphere better. And really helped to add to the time and culture of the Renaissance to give the audience a better experience and feeling for what it was like during the Renaissance and how people acted. For question 2, one scene that caught my attention with the children was when they were acting like trees and playing the part of nature. I think this was a great effect and interesting because of the fact that kids are pure just like nature, so I made that correlation. And then another scene was when the kids were involved in that pillow fight scene to add to the hecticness of that scene. I thought this was super interesting as well because this added to the mood of the scene where it was just all over the place and crazy, and incorporating the kids into that scene just made it even more crazy. So for question number 3, I'm not sure if I missed this in the play, but I kind of just wanted some more clarification. But one thing I didn't necessarily understand was when he turned into a donkey and why he turned into a donkey out of all the animals, why Puck transformed him into a donkey. And after doing some research, I found out that it was because he wanted to turn him into that of an ass, which is what a donkey symbolized due to his ignorance. He was the joke of the play, and the dramatic irony aspects played a huge part into this play because of that very reason. And then I also found out that this was also because Puck told him that his friends were running away from Bottom due to them fearing Bottom, because they're trying to make an ass out of him, which I thought was really interesting too. And then question number 4, how does this relate to identity, power, and politics? For identity, I said you choose your own identity. People can't force you to be or do what you don't like or who you're not like. You have that power, which goes to the second part where it says, where I said you have the power and control over yourself, even though it may not seem like it. At the end of the day, you're your own person. You can do what you want and what makes you happy. And then for politics, I said you cannot be forced into loving someone or doing something you're not comfortable with just because society tells you you have to. So I know in the Renaissance, parental figures were very important, and honestly even today, but the father telling his daughter who she needs to marry and who he wants her to marry, that kind of just can't work anymore. You have to marry the person you like, not just because your parents told you to marry that person, which ultimately ended up in her rebelling against that and not marrying him. So for question number 5, I said there was a lot of interesting visual and movement scenes in this production that were very cool, but I think the best scene was one of the closing scenes where all the characters were dancing together into the music. The music was very, very good, and I feel like it incorporated all of the characters and their happiness together. I said it was a good way to show that all the characters are together and they're happy and they're doing what they wanted. I said it was just a very good way to end the show, to kind of have that happy ending in a way. And then 2 questions I would like to pose to my peers. The first one, as I mentioned earlier, there was a lot of dramatic irony in this play. My question for you guys is to name a scene, or not a question, but kind of a thing for you guys to do is name a scene or moment in the play where you saw dramatic irony being used. Did you think a lot of dramatic irony was being used in this play, or did you not really see a lot of it? And then for the second question, I said, in a situation where you were forced to marry someone you did not want to marry, what would you do? Would you put your parents' happiness over your own, or would you do what makes you happy, like the girl in the play? So yeah, thank you.